Okay. I live in a little town next to Staunton. I live in Gillespie. Okay. And the part of town that I live on is kind of known, well, there used to be a lot of coal mines here. So a lot of the smaller houses, whether they were actually company housing, are referred to as mine shacks because they were built within walking distance of any of the mines. And I really don't know if my house is a true mine shack or not. I just know it's teeny tiny, and it's on the east edge of town, and there were several mines close to it. Anyway, I bought this house in 2012, and it was run down. It was horrible. So I gutted the interior of this house. Okay, took out all the drywall. Well, it was plaster. There were layers of paneling. It was a mess, but we just gutted it, everything down to the studs, and put in new sheetrock. And shortly after I moved uh, in the middle of the night, I woke up for some whatever reason, and standing next to my bed was a little boy. Okay, and probably about 3 or 4 years old. Was not solid. He was at least somewhat transparent, and it immediately struck me that he was dressed like one of the kids on the Little Rascals. So I'm, probably about the 30s, 40s, type era, and had a bowl haircut, and I registered that there was, a child standing there. He has little hands on my nightstand, and he was just looking at me, and I thought I was dreaming, and I, shook my head, and he was gone. Only took, a few seconds, wasn't, and I just assumed I was dreaming. Okay. So yeah, after that happened, and I'm kind of oblivious, I'm not somebody that looks for orbs and pictures, and I consider myself a healthy skeptic, but I know part of being smart is knowing you don't know everything. So the possibilities are always on the table with me. And so nothing that I knew of happened for about five years. And then shortly after I started at Lewis and Clark, as a matter of fact, uh, one night I was sleeping again, and like as I tend to do at night, and I hear this loud bang. And I woke up, and on my nightstand, I always had a little charging pad for my phone where I would lay my iPhone and it would charge overnight. And I sleep on the edge of that side of the bed. So my nightstand and that charging pad in particular could not, maybe a foot away from my face. Okay, it's just right there. Anyway, I hear this noise and I wake up, and my phone is on the floor, and my charging pad is clear off the opposite side of the nightstand. Now, yes, I have pets, but they were, all three of them, I had two dogs and a cat, were on the bed behind me. And, if any of them knocked it over, yeah, I surely would have felt that. Or if my hand hit it, I sure as heck didn't feel it. Okay, it was just my phone was on the floor and it was off the opposite side of the nightstand. So I'm like, okay, whatever, and I didn't think too much of it. And then, the last couple of years have gone by. I think that happened about 2018. And here just recently, at best, I'm kind of a slapdash housekeeper. Okay, I tend to vacuum around things instead of like move them and vacuum under them, And I don't have any kids, and I live alone, so it's rare the furniture gets moved. And I noticed a couple of months ago that there was a scuff on my wall behind this big, heavy rocking chair that I've got. And the rocking chair belonged to my grandmother. It's old and it's heavy. And this scuff, I noticed that while I was sitting across the room, was right about the height where the rocking chair might, hit the wall if someone were sitting in it. And I didn't think anything of it because my animals do jump into that chair occasionally. I just figured the chair hit the wall a couple of times and it scuffed the wall. Well, this summer during quarantine, I decided I'm going to shampoo my carpets. So I go to move all the furniture out of my living room. And once I got close enough to this thing, I uh, learned real quickly that it was not a scuff that was on my wall. And I can show you, I've got a photo here of what was actually on my wall. Yeah, I'll do a share screen. That was what's on my wall. Can you see it?
Whoa.
Yeah, mommy. And
Oh,
right,
so
right.
holy.
And when, of course, when I saw that, I immediately, thought back to, uh, the little boy that I saw in my bedroom. And to even add to the story a little bit more, about 2 weeks ago, I posted that photo on my Facebook page. And, I live in a small town and I told the story about the little boy and about my charger and now about, mommy written on the wall. And this guy that I know, you got to understand, I'm 56 years old, okay? I'm not a kid. And my friend that responded to my message, he's in his late 40s. We are not teenagers here, okay? And here, let me find it. This is the message he left. Dona, I grew up 3 houses down from your current home. My mother used to see a little boy following me around, and we had several activities in that house. So that's my scary story.